What's going on, everybody? Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well today. We are getting near the end of the week. We're getting close to the weekend here. Going to be a very active weekend of playoff football. And before we get there, we did have one little announcement from the Associated Press. They released their all-pro teams. They do this every year. The Associated Press is considered the gold standard of evaluating player quality. And while things like the Pro Bowl don't really matter much anymore, I believe the All-Pro team still matters. And I think that when putting together the NFL All-Pro team, the Associated Press has a real obligation to do their homework, do their research, and get it right. I don't think that Pro Bowl selections matter very much in this league anymore. I don't think that people are looking at Pro Bowl selections as some indicator of player quality, and I don't think people are using it to evaluate who's good and who's bad. All Pro, on the other hand, I absolutely think people use that as some kind of capturing of who the best players were in a particular year. So the Associated Press, they need to get it right. And as I think pretty much every Seahawks fan today is already aware of, it sure seems like they didn't get it right. So there were no Seattle Seahawks on the Associated Press All-Pro first team or second team. Condota lists that out here. So if you're looking for a Seahawk on either All-Pro team this year, you will not find one. It is just the second time since 2009 no Seahawk has made the All-Pro team. The other time was in 2022, which is interesting because 2022 was a season where the Seahawks made the playoffs. And while we haven't had a lot of bad seasons since 2009, we have had a couple of losing seasons. We've had a couple of 7-win seasons, a couple of failed seasons. So it's interesting that this year and 2022 would be the 2 years since Pete Carroll showed up where the Seahawks didn't have a single All-Pro. Now, there's one particular player where the All-Pro snub is egregious. And you're not going to catch me saying anything else. Leonard Williams not making the All-Pro team, much less not making the All-Pro second team. He should have been first team, but him not making All-Pro first team is a joke, and him not making either All-Pro team is a very bad joke. It's an even worse joke. And you guys know me. I've been making videos for a while. Typically, I'm not that guy. When it comes to this kind of stuff, I'm not that guy. I'm not the guy who insists that Russell Wilson should have won 3 MVPs while he was in Seattle. I'm not that guy who thinks that Richard Sherman should have been All-Pro first team every year he started for the Seahawks. I'm not that guy who thinks that a player like a Cam Chancellor should have made first team All-Pro 5 times here. I'm not that guy who thinks that the referees are dead set to screw over the Seahawks every single week. I'm not that guy. I'll even go as far as to acknowledge that, quite honestly, there have been 1 or 2 Seahawks players over my time as a Seahawks fan that have gotten the respect vote. And they have probably gotten some undue credit for things that they were assumed to be doing based on their reputation rather than the fact that they were actually doing it. And a lot of Seahawks fans won't say that. I'm willing to say that. So I'm not that guy. I am not the guy who complains that we get no respect. I am not doing the Rodney Dangerfield routine every week. And I certainly don't do it every time there's an All-Pro team. And I don't really even do it for the Pro Bowl, because again, the Pro Bowl isn't really worth taking all that seriously anymore. But for Leonard Williams to not make the All-Pro team, that's showing a real lack of awareness and evaluation ability on the part of the Associated Press. The only thing I can think of is that the Associated Press voters don't watch every game, and they only saw the Seahawks in primetime football. And the Seahawks did not do very well this year, particularly on defense on primetime football. They had the Bears game, right? The Bears game was good, but that game was such an abomination, I don't know how much people even remember it, and the defense got destroyed in games against the Lions, games against the Niners, and games against the Packers on primetime. Oh, sorry. Getting annoying alerts. Let me turn that off here real quick. That's the only thing I can think of, but that's not a good justification. If you're basing your evaluation of players and teams off of only their primetime schedule, you're not very good at this. So, for me personally, this is, I would say, the biggest Seattle snub that I've seen in my lifetime as a Seahawk. I'm that serious. Leonard Williams was probably the #1 interior defensive line player in the league. According to the Associated Press, he's not even top 4. Not okay. And that's something that can affect his legacy down the line. When you're looking at a player like Leonard Williams after he retires and you're trying to understand how good he was, all-pro teams that he made are going to matter. So, yeah, this is super not okay. That's the one that has me heated. We can go to this Dugar tweet and we can see that some Seahawks players got votes for the All-Pro team. Devin Witherspoon, our one Pro Bowl representative, who, by the way, just to kind of go the other way on it, I'm not 100% convinced Devin Witherspoon should have made the Pro Bowl on merit, and I don't think he was anywhere close to the effectiveness of Leonard Williams this year. I think Leonard Williams had a much better year if you were to try to compare the two players, which they don't play the same position. I know it's hard, but I think Leonard Williams had a much higher impact on games this year than Devin Witherspoon. And I think Witherspoon had a good year. I'm not convinced he should have made the All-Pro team. And I don't know if he should have gotten first-team All-Pro votes, but as you can see, he did actually get first-place votes this year. As did Leonard Williams, so some people know what's up, but not enough. We also had JSN get All-Pro votes. We had Michael Dixon get some first-place votes, but still not make the team. And Julian Love also got All-Pro votes, which I think Julian Love had a nice little year, so that makes sense to me. I don't think he necessarily deserved to make the team, though, so I'm okay with him not making it. So that stuff, that's fine, but Leonard Williams not making the team is a travesty. That would be, to me, Leonard Williams not making the All-Pro team would be, or is, about as bad if Josh Allen didn't make the All-Pro team. Like, that's how big this snub is to me. And I don't know if it's the West Coast, East Coast thing, and I don't usually play the West Coast, East Coast card, but this is a circumstance where I think you have to say, yeah, there's something wrong here. And this Seahawks team won 10 games on an average strength of schedule. Just think about that for a second. An average strength of schedule, Seahawks won 10 games. How are we winning 10 games against an average schedule if we don't have a single all-pro caliber player? Right? Do we have the greatest coaches in NFL history? How did that happen? It doesn't pass the common sense test. So, yeah, not cool. Not cool. One thing that is cool, though, we can live vicariously through Bobby Wagner, who made second-team All-Pro yet again. 11th straight season he's been picked for either first-team or second-team All-Pro, and he is now one of 6 players in NFL history with 11 or more All-Pro nods. Reggie White and Jim Otto are the only players with more. So, that's cool. We like that. Congratulations to Bobby Wagner, and he's playing in the playoffs this weekend. But that's what I got to say about that. It's not okay. I'm not happy, and I think this matters. The Pro Bowl doesn't matter. All-Pro teams from the AP do. See you guys later. Go Hawks.